Here's a riddle for you, Aluxers. What costs nothing to make, yet breaks your bank account when you need to purchase it? It might be the first time you've gotten dozens of answers for a riddle, so we've selected 15 products that bleed you dry. Welcome to Alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. If you're not subscribed yet, you're missing out. Number 1. Baby clothing. Have you ever held a baby in your hands and thought, how is it possible that a person can be this tiny? And then, how is it possible that something so small can cost so much money? Baby clothes have a huge markup, and it can seem insane to spend an exorbitant price on such tiny items of clothing. But new parents, grandparents, well-meaning friends, and family will gladly shell out $30 for a scrap of fabric that's going to cover baby for about 5 minutes. There are legitimate reasons as to why baby clothing is priced higher than regular clothing. The fabric is usually softer and of higher quality because of baby's delicate skin. Then there's brand name clothing, which according to How Stuff Works, can see increases of up to 300%, but a general rule of thumb is known as keystone pricing, which simply doubles the cost price. Buying gently worn baby clothing is a great option for new parents, as you can still get beautiful branded clothing at a fraction of the cost. Number 2. Designer jeans. We just mentioned the huge markups on branded clothing, and falling victim to those huge hikes are designer jeans. Even cheap jeans are subject to huge markups, including that $21.99 pair from Kohl's, who have a 112% markup. If you bought jeans from True Religion, you'd be paying a 300% markup. Isn't it funny that this item of clothing was initially designed for minors, and yet here we are happily spending hundreds of dollars for the perfect fit? Number 3. Epi-pens. Also called epinephrine auto-injectors, these little lifesavers might save your life, but your pocket will still take a beating. As reported by NBCnews.com, Mylan, a distributor of the Epi-pen, were selling 2 Epi-pens for $600. Industry experts confirmed that each pen would not cost more than $30 to make. As Adam Fine, president of Pembroke Consulting, said, "Whether you like it or not, it's the way the world works." Mylan is not the only company that came under fire for selling pens at sky-high prices, with Epi-pen or Epi-pen Junior packages retailing between $650 and $700 for 2. Mylan has since released a generic version, which you can get for between $150 and $400, depending on what discounts or coupons you have available. Now, from one pharmaceutical ripoff to another. Number 4. Prescription drugs. Aluxers, explaining the insane prices of prescription drugs in 2 words is easy: monopoly pricing. We just mentioned the excessive pricing on the Epi-pen, and there's another example provided by Time.com. Between 2012 and 2019, Advi's rheumatoid arthritis drug Humira increased from $19,000 a year to $60,000 a year. A study published in the journal Health Affairs claimed that a lack of competition and regulations in the United States is the main cause for the exorbitant prices attached to prescription drugs. We have so many big reveals to share with you, Aluxers. Just remember to subscribe to Alux.com. Now, time to get some liquid refreshment. Number 5. Bottled water. Aluxers, we're not even going to go into all the controversies when it comes to where spring water really comes from, but we'll just share one statistic with you. EcoWatch.com confirms 64% of bottled water comes directly from the tap. Consumers are spending in the region of $10 for a gallon of purified water, which you can either get for free or nearly free from your taps. That's a 2,000% markup. You must be wondering, how do they get away with this? Well, predatory marketing practices. Consumers truly believe their tap water is inferior, crammed with germs, and makes one sick. And yes, there are some places that do have this problem, but in most places, it's perfectly okay to drink tap water. Prepackaged water costs American households roughly $16 billion a year, and we won't even go into the damage it's causing the environment. We do, however, highly recommend you watch our video, 15 Things You Didn't Know About the Waste Management Industry, for a deeper look into what happens to all those bottles. Number 6. Eyeglasses frames. What ultimately are eyeglass frames? A small piece of plastic, metal, or wood shaped to hold two pieces of glass? Is the process vastly different from, say, shaping a curly-whirly plastic straw? As published in a column by the LA Times under the heading, "How Badly Are We Being Ripped Off on Eyewear?" E. Dean Butler, the founder of LensCrafters, says that China is responsible for manufacturing the majority of frames bought in the US, and there you could pick up Warby Parker level of quality for between $4 and $8. If you're willing to fork out $15, you'd get designer quality frames like you'd get from Gucci. The average cost of frames is $231 a pair, so why are we paying 20 times the price of what it costs to manufacture? Again, it all comes down to monopoly. Luxottica is the Italian company that owns and holds the licenses for Ray-Ban, Oakley, Michael Kors, DKNY, Coach, Burberry, Versace, and Chanel. It can very well compete with itself, which is why you'd need to sell your soul to afford a pair of decent frames. Number 7. Textbooks. Actually, we take back what we said about selling your soul for eyeglasses frames. You'll have to sell it to study. Besides the fact that textbooks are so heavily overpriced, they're also changed out every year or two, making it impossible for students to resell and pass on. As if students aren't already paying insane prices to study, course material and textbooks keep them in debt several years after their studies have finished. 43% of students have foregone meals to save money for books, and 85% of students confirmed that textbooks were a huge financial burden. This survey was conducted by Morning Consult on behalf of Cengage, one of the major college textbook and digital content companies. So what's the deal when we all know that printing doesn't cost an arm and a leg anymore? Some cite the decline of textbook sales have upped their prices, while a more plausible reason could be that the author's work is valuable. However, like an ebook, can be bought for a fraction of the cost, while still making money for the author and being better for the environment. So with time, hopefully all textbooks will be available this way, and not only a select few. Number 8. Pre-cut fruits and vegetables. Don't get us wrong, Aluxers, just because the prices of pre-cut fruits and veg shoot up, it doesn't mean we'll all stop buying it. But here's the irony of this price hike. The reason why that particular fruit or vegetable was cut up and peeled is because it was either bruised, misshapen, or close to being tossed, so it gets cut and packaged and the prices hiked up and then sold. It's a way more profitable than chucking it, and again, we'll still buy it for sheer convenience. I mean, Aluxers, when's the last time you peeled and chopped a butternut? It's hard work, and for a little bit extra, it's done for you. Number 9. Alcohol at bars and restaurants. Aluxers, you know the cost of a bottle of decent whiskey or the price of a good red, and then think about how much more affordable it'll be if you bought it in bulk. Considerably. But if you buy a glass of decent red wine at a restaurant or a bar, you could pretty much get an entire bottle for the same amount. You're paying more for the experience than the actual beverage. An article released by the Daily Mail claimed that bottom-shelf mixed drinks got a 456% markup, draft beer 355%, house wine received a 350% markup, a top-shelf spirit got a 300% increase, and a bottle of wine a 150% increase. But I mean, would we opt to not order having this information on board? Bartender, top me up, please. Number 10. Crocs. Urban Dictionary featured a contribution by Zarquan, who said, "The most ridiculous markup since bottled water. Bottled water plus a fraction of a penny worth of bottled water in a 2-cent bottle and sell it for $1. Crocs, on the other hand, mold a few cents of plastic with no water inside into something kinda resembling a shoe and then sell the damn thing for $30. Curved Mirror stated, "They are neon rubber shoes that cost 50 cents to make and sold for $50. And we couldn't have explained it better than the contributor Knowlton7 did when he said, "Costing pennies to make and then marked up by about 5,000%, these shoes make you look like a dumbass." Suffice it to say, they cost nothing to make, yet make shit tons of money each time a pair is sold. Number 11. Face masks. In times of crisis, there will always be people that cash in, and it's no different with COVID. Nottingham-based Boots found themselves making headlines on NottinghamPost.com when it was revealed their masks had a 500% markup. The usual retail inflation in this case would have been 2.1%, and they took complete advantage of the crisis and the fact that people, by law, must wear face masks. Manufacturer Linsmed Medical Group sells them for 12p a mask. New Zealand faces a similar problem where shoppers have reported they're paying $100 for 50 masks. That's $2 a mask. Prices increased exponentially when the country moved from level 2 to level 3, with some pharmacies charging $3 a mask. Number 12. Wedding anything. Hey Luxers, it's sad but true. The moment you mention that whatever you're ordering is for a wedding, people see dollar signs. Of course, weddings incur a lot of additional costs that most couples don't anticipate. Things like a marriage license, out-of-season flowers, even extra charges for cake cutting. But compare the prices of ordering a 3-tiered wedding cake to ordering a 3-tiered cake for a random birthday party. Wedding programs see a huge price hike. Hiring a photo booth for a wedding compared to a more fun, run-of-the-mill event costs more. Backdrops are a huge rental expense when used at weddings, and even venues hike up the price when they know it's for a wedding. It's perfectly okay to want all the beauty that comes with a once-in-a-lifetime event, but there's a lot you can make and do yourself, and save yourself a great deal of unnecessary spending. Number 13. Remote keyless systems. Hey Luxers, if you've ever lost your remote key, you would have probably shed a few tears because the price of replacing one is kind of frightening. Unfortunately for us, car companies make money from us losing our keys. They have no competition. It's not like we can head down to the local hardware store and just grab another one. They need to be programmed to work with our exact vehicle and computer. So Luxers, best to keep your key in a safe place unless you have a few $100s lying around. Number 14. Takeout coffee and tea. We completely understand the need for your daily caffeine from your favorite spot, but you might reconsider going as often as you do when you learn the markup is in the region of 817%. Research shows a lot of coffee will cost around 30 cents, including the cup. But what are you actually paying for your coffee? Probably somewhere between $2.50 to $3.50, or more. Before you start fretting about the markup, remember that the shops need to pay rent, staff, advertising, electricity, etc., etc. So markups are not just about making tons of cash, but also to cover their expenses. Number 15. Mattresses. Luxers, buying a mattress is a huge decision that can cause quite a lot of contention between those who have to sleep on it. It's a huge investment, and it's not the kind of purchase you can easily replace if it's shit, because they can cost thousands of dollars. Mattresses have excellent profit margins and with low overhead costs can make a retailer a fair amount of money. Most mattress shops are inside warehouses and staff work on a commission-based salary. Then take into account that a $3,000 mattress costs roughly $300 to manufacture. You're looking at a 900% markup. So Luxers, what did you think of this one? Which product do you know is cheap to make but has a huge markup? We'd love to hear your comments. And of course, you stuck with us until the end. Here's your bonus markup. Movie theater popcorn and soda. You know, the movie must-haves that cost more than the movie ticket and the fuel to get to the cinema. Sure, we could sneak in the soda and a bit of candy, but the popcorn is impossible to hide. Besides, let's be honest, movie popcorn just tastes so much better. But the markup on that puffed-out corn? 1,300%. Again, it comes down to monopoly, and if people are spending $7 on a tub of popcorn, why would they charge $4? But actually, you know what? Now it's time to switch off our phone and eat the bulk of our popcorn during the trailers. Thanks for watching, Luxers. We appreciate your thumbs up and remember to subscribe for more daily videos.